Hi, class, and welcome to HSS 405, Artificial Intelligence and Autonomy. I'm your instructor, Daniel Estrada, and in this class, we'll be thinking about autonomy and agency and how they've figured into different political and ethical theories over the last few thousand years. We'll apply these concepts to some recent debates in artificial intelligence and robotics. This is a topic that I care a lot about, and I'm really excited to talk with you all this semester about this material. I've made some adjustments this semester to fit the pandemic conditions and the work from home situation that we're all in. So I hope you enjoy the course. Let's actually get into some of the details here. So in this video, I will be talking about the assignment structure and course structure, course expectations. It's really sort of a companion video to the syllabus. You can see all of the details for the course in the syllabus directly, which is on Canvas. Hopefully it'll answer all the questions that you have and it makes everything clear. But if you have any questions, just let me know. Hi, I'm Dan. You can call me Dan or Professor Estrada, whatever you feel comfortable with. My background is in philosophy and computer science. This class, HSS 405, is the class where I get to indulge myself a little bit by exploring my own research interests. So you'll see a couple of my papers in the reading list for interests, for example. So some of you might have taken my engineering ethics course, Phil 334. Some of you might also have taken my STS 351 course. I recognize some of your names in the course roster, and I'm glad to see you again. Hope you're all happy and safe and ready to do some philosophy. You might recognize some of the material in this class if you've taken a class from me before. We'll do the robot rights debate. We'll talk a little bit about Aristotle. You can get in contact with me by email. We'll also be meeting on WebEx and through Discord. You can also get in contact with me through the Canvas messaging system. But we will have regular class meetings. We're scheduled for regular class meetings on Monday and Wednesday from 12:30 to 1:50. Those meetings will be held in my WebEx room, so you can log on to WebEx, and I'll be taking attendance during those classes on Discord. So you'll need to have both WebEx and Discord up and running during class sessions. Class sessions will be required for some of our meetings, in particular for our debates and our peer review sessions and a couple of other class activities. Attendance will be required during the session, but I realize that working from home situations, it makes work difficult, it makes concentration difficult. So I'll be recording all of these class sessions and putting them online for everyone to look at afterwards. And if you miss some of the classes, you'll be able to make up some of that content and material through the recordings. And I'll talk about that in a little bit. Let me see, where am I? We will be using Discord for a lot of our class activities, especially sort of informal discussion outside of the class period. I think the biggest thing that we're missing having these online work from home classes is the kind of spontaneous interactions that you might have with other students in a classroom, not just with other students, but also with me. It's sort of hard to have those kinds of interactions on a strict WebEx schedule. So I'm running a Discord server. If you've ever used Discord, it's a free program. You should be able to download it. You can chat. You can also do voice chat. I think you can do video chat and screen sharing now, but it's just a little chat program. It's mostly for gamers, but I'm gonna use it this semester for certain class activities, for some of our debates and discussions, and again to take attendance. So download that program. It should be free online, and get used to the structure. Log on to my server and start using it. Okay, so I will be available to meet by appointment in my WebEx room. If you would like to meet me, just tell me when you're free. I'm not setting regular hours mostly because I'm using the Discord server. So the easiest way to contact me is just leave a message on the Discord server, and I should be able to respond to that within 24 hours. Maybe not 24 hours on the weekend, but during the work week within 24 hours. So that's the best way of getting in contact with me. But if you want to talk face to face through the camera, then tell me when you're free. I do have a class right before this class in the morning. So the best time to meet with me would be like right after class, like around 2 o'clock. Also, all of the readings for this semester will be made available on Canvas. You won't have to buy any books. And I'll talk about the reading list also in just a second. All right. So for a thematic overview of the course, the structure of the class is divided into 3 thematic units. In the first unit, we'll talk about the history of agency and autonomy from a philosophical perspective. And I'll go over 3 kinds of approaches to agency. The first is that agents are alive, then that agents are computers, and then finally that agents are conscious or thinking things. Each of these views have come up at different points in history, and we're going to go over all of them in order to think about different ways of approaching the question of agency and autonomy. So this is the first unit. In the second unit, we will look more directly at the free will debate, and especially how it arises out of interactions between these different approaches to agency. So in the second unit, we'll talk about determinism and libertarianism and free will and compatibilism, different positions in the free will debate. At the end of these units, at the end of units 1 and 2, we'll also have a debate session where we sort of argue it out amongst ourselves in class. And then the final unit is where we talk about AI and robotics more explicitly. It'll come up in these earlier discussions for sure, but in the third unit, I will talk to you about what computers are, and I'll try to make an argument that computation is a natural framework for thinking about agency, so that computers are a kind of agent. And then we'll get into some details about whether machines can think, whether machines could ever be autonomous. And then we'll close out the course by thinking about some of the ethical and political dimensions of AI. We'll look at some AI ethics issues, which is how AI is being treated now in an ethical context. We'll look at things like facial recognition software or autonomous weapon systems. And then we'll close out the course with a discussion of robot rights. I'll try to give you an argument that robots might deserve rights, and not just robots in the far future, but maybe even robots that we have around today. So this is the thematic structure of the course, and we'll get into some of these details in the actual content lectures. But right now, I just want to go over some of the course expectations and assignments. So this is the assignment structure for the course. I don't want to give you a lot of busy work. I try to make these assignments pretty small to give you as much room to engage the course material as possible. And we can think of sort of both informal and formal assignments. So after every class, I would like you to, I'm taking attendance on Discord, so make sure you have Discord open, and I will check attendance through Discord, and that'll happen for every class session. And then at the end of every week of the class, I'm asking you to do 2 short writing assignments, or at least at some point during the week to do these 2 short writing assignments. One is a weekly comment, which is about 200, 300 words, like a paragraph, maybe up to a page long, where you're going to post this on Canvas in one of the discussion forums on Canvas. I'm also asking every week that you engage in some of the conversation on Discord. There's no formal word requirement for Discord, and I'm thinking about Discord as an informal writing assignment or sort of peer engagement. The point in Discord is to be talking with your peers, and think about the Canvas as a more formal or semi-formal writing assignment where you sort of consolidate a lot of the thoughts that you've had over the lesson and discussions over the week. So informal discussion on Discord, slightly more formal discussion on Canvas, and I want you to do that on a weekly basis. And then at the end of every unit, so the units last 3 to 4 weeks, at the end of every unit, I want you to do a slightly longer writing assignment, what I'm calling a thought paper, which is 700 to 1,000 words. This is going to be 3 to 4 pages, maybe 5 pages. And this is going to be a slightly more elaborate and thoughtful and thorough discussion of your views. So thought paper should be your own views. There's no writing prompt that you have to write to for the thought paper or the comments. I really just want you to write about something that interests you, sort of gathering your thoughts and building them slowly to the exam in the final unit of the course. So you'll have a thought unit after units 1 and thought paper after units 1 and 2, a few pages where you give a more elaborate discussion of your own views. Also in the units, we'll have a debate. At the end of the units, the debate goes over 2 days. So there's a preparation day and then an actual debate day. And during those debate days, your attendance is required. So by required attendance, I mean if you don't show up, you'll lose some points. There are ways of making up those points with additional writing assignments. But I'd like everyone to be in attendance during these debates so that we have a lively and active conversation. And then another writing requirement that I'm having you do is at the end of the debate, I'm asking you to reflect on the debate with a debate commentary. This will be about a page long. It shouldn't be a long thought paper where you go deep into the views. And my idea here is that your thought paper should be your formal writing on your own views, whereas the debate commentary should be your formal writing assignment about the structure of the debate, about the different sides and how they interact. And you don't have to get too much into your own views in the debate commentary. I really want you to talk about not just the debate that we had in class, but also how that debate reflects the philosophical debate in the literature. So at the end of units 1 and 2, you have a thought paper, you have these debate commentaries, and participate in the debate in class. I'm also asking at the end of the units that you put your thought paper, your debate commentaries, and your weekly comment from Canvas all into a Word document that you submit to the plagiarism detection on Canvas. Plagiarism has been a recurring problem in this class and my other classes, and so this is just a safety measure to make sure students aren't plagiarizing, taking advantage of the standards in the course. So make sure you submit every unit. This is at the end of the unit to the plagiarism detection. Once the plagiarism detection is submitted, there's a peer review assignment that Canvas will automatically distribute to all students, and it'll ask you to read every other student's thought papers and debate commentaries and so on. So the peer reviews will give you a chance to give feedback to other students on their writing and to sort of interact with the grading rubrics that I've been using. So you can see more information about that in the syllabus, and I'll talk a little bit more about how this fits into the schedule. But so we've gone every week you have these short writing assignments, every unit, so every 4 weeks or so you have these longer writing assignments. And then once during the semester you have 2 big assignments that are a significant portion of your grade. One is an exam paper, which will be due at the end of the semester, 7 to 10 pages. You're only having 1 writing assignment. If you've taken STS 351 with me before, you know I had a midterm and a final. So I basically dropped the midterm this semester, and I want to just do 1 final exam, and I want to spend quite a lot of time doing some peer review and editing drafting sessions for that final exam. So during the final unit of the course, we're going to spend a lot of time doing these drafting sessions. I think we have 4 drafting sessions in total. And so that those drafting sessions and the paper compose a significant part of your grade. And the other really big portion of your grade is a presentation. So once during the semester, I would like you to sign up for a presentation day. And actually, this will be a little bit easier if we actually jump into the class directly into Canvas, into the syllabus. So here's the class on Canvas. Syllabus, the full syllabus is right here. It's a big document. It's a couple pages long, where all the details that I'm going through right now, where you can see. In addition, here there's a course overview where I just sort of give a brief overview, and this is where this video is. So you're probably watching this video from this page right now. I also have the assignment schedule online. The assignment schedule might be a little bit easier to read in the syllabus. So let me go ahead and jump down to the assignment schedule. That's the schematic schedule. Here's the assignment schedule. So the assignments in bold are the ones that have due dates. Actually, let me just jump into the Canvas. So you can see that for the first few weeks in week 2, 3, and 4, you have your weekly comments at the end. And then in week 5, we have the debate. Attendance is required for both of the days in the debate. And then your thought paper and debate commentary are due on Fridays. In fact, all of these due dates are on Fridays. So our classes are on Mondays and Wednesdays. And then the writing assignment is due on Friday night. In week 5, we're doing the debate on both days, so no presentations. And then the thought paper, debate commentary, and your plagiarism detection will be due that Friday. Notice that this is 2 writing assignments due in the same day. My idea here is that I didn't want to wait too long to get the debate commentary in. I also didn't want to make it due like on the Wednesday after the debate. I wanted to give you a little bit of time. But maybe the thought paper and the debate commentary is a lot. You might want to be thinking about your thought paper in the weeks before the debate week. To prepare for that a little bit early. Okay, so that's unit 1. And then in unit 2, we're doing the free will debate, but the structure is the same, weekly comments every week, and then a debate in the final week of the unit with the thought paper and debate commentary due. Notice also that the peer review will be due a week after the plagiarism detection is due for unit 1. So turn your plagiarism detection, then Canvas automatically distributes these peer reviews, and those will be due the following week. And then same thing here, turn in this plagiarism detection, and then the following week, the peer review is due. Unit 3 is a little bit different because we have the final paper as opposed to the regular debate structure, and so I have a couple of more days dedicated to peer review in class. So we still have your weekly comments and Discord requirement, but in week 11, I'm asking you to submit a thesis statement so that we know what your paper will be about, what position you'll be arguing for. And then the thesis proposal will be due on Wednesday, and then we'll have an on Canvas, so strictly online, peer review session for that thesis proposal. And then the following week, I want you to elaborate on that thesis proposal into a full paper proposal where you give an outline of your whole paper and argument and so on. And then we'll do a peer review session in class on that full proposal. This peer review session will require that you attend class so that you can participate in the peer review. And then we'll do another peer review on that same proposal on Canvas, where Canvas automatically distributes peer reviews to students. Week 13, more comments in Discord, then Thanksgiving break, 14, same thing. And then the last week of class, we will have a draft session in class, and we'll have a final debate on the last day of class. And then all of your Canvas stuff is due here. So that includes your final thought discussion, a draft of your paper, the plagiarism detection, and any extra credit. And we'll talk about that in a second. Your final exam will be due on the 16th, which is a week after the final week of classes. And that'll be due on Canvas, and you should submit that to plagiarism detection. Also, this is the structure, the overall structure of the debate, or of the class. And you can see that most of the class sessions themselves are just the presentations that I'm asking you to do. So I'm asking students to, so this is the other big assignment that all students have to do, is that you have to select one of these days to present to class the material from that unit. I have a sign-up sheet online that is linked in the course overview. Yeah, here's the presentation schedule. It's also linked on the syllabus. On this sign-up sheet, sign up for one of these classes. And you can have one, I think I said 1 or 2 students. Yeah, so 2 students per day can sign up in these for these classes, up to 2 students. So 2 students can sign up per day, and those 2 students can work together on a presentation, or those 2 students can work individually on a presentation. And then hopefully we fill up all the schedule with different presentations. My plan is to record my lectures well ahead of these classes and put them on Canvas so that you can watch them before the classes start, and that everyone has a sort of sense of my own lectures. But I don't want to spend the class period lecturing to you. Hopefully you watch the lecture videos before these class periods. Instead, during the class period, I'm basically going to turn it over to the student who's presenting that day to present on any of the material that you'd like to from this unit. So the weeks are sort of broken up into agents are live, agents are machines, agents are conscious. But if you're presenting in this unit, if you're presenting in any one of these weeks, you can talk about any of the material from Unit 1. And similarly for Unit 2, if you're presenting any of these weeks, you can talk about any of the material from Unit 2. I want to try to keep the presentations to Unit 2, although if you want to talk about things both before and after your unit, you can. So if you're presenting in the first week and you want to say something about artificial intelligence also, you can try to make your focus not on AI, but on the lesson plans for this unit. If you really want to talk about AI and robotics, try to schedule a presentation in the last few weeks of the class. So I would like you to schedule these presentations by the 4th of September, which is just the end of the first week of classes. So please schedule these presentations as soon as possible so that we know and can anticipate where all the presentations are coming from, and also so students who are paired off might collaborate with with the other presentation person. Okay, so please sign up for these presentations. I want to show you just quickly the reading schedule. So the reading schedule here is kind of gnarly. There's a lot of reading on this list. Let me just scroll down so you can see how much reading I have. This is a lot of material, and let me say that you're not expected to read or master all of this material. It's really not possible to master all this material in a week or in a semester. What this is me trying to give you a broad selection of material so that you can go through it and find the things that interest you, find the concepts, find the ideas and debates that really motivate you. So I do, if you've taken my class, if you've taken STS 351 before, you know that my reading list was a little bit chaotic. I have organized it a little bit so that I've associated these readings with the weeks. So if you are interested in biology and whether agents are alive or what it means to be alive, then maybe you want to schedule a presentation during this week and do your presentation on one of these readings. But again, if you're in the first unit of the class, you can do your presentation on really any of the readings from that unit, and hopefully over the course of that unit, we'll get conversations across the board. And again, also my lectures will be separate, so if nothing else, you will see my own walk through this material. But your presentation should not try to present on all of this material. So here for week 2, there's a lot of material I have here. If you want to present in this week, you should not, please do not try to present on all of this material. This is really just for your benefit to try to get a big picture view. What I'm asking you to do for presentation is to really try to focus on some specific readings that you're interested in, and maybe some specific concepts that come up in the lectures, in my own lectures, that you want to go into some more detail on. So the presentations, you should try to present for about 15 minutes or 20 minutes, and then maybe another 20 minutes of open discussion with the rest of the group. So if there's 2 people, each person gets about 20 minutes of conversation, and another 20 minutes of presentation, and another 20 minutes of conversation. So hopefully we can fit that all in. And your goal is really to present on things that interest you. Let me actually go back to the slide deck right now. Yeah, let me skip this for a second. Here's the slide deck. So let me get myself out of the way here. So this is a seminar. It's a senior seminar. If you're in this class, you've been doing the college thing for a few years now, and you sort of know how it works. I'm not going to be treating this as an introduction course. This is a senior seminar. In grad school, the seminars were supposed to be contrasted with the lecture, where a lecture is someone talking at you about the research that they've put together and the conclusions that they've drawn from it. And a lecture will last like an hour of someone talking to you. But a seminar was supposed to not be a lecture. A seminar is supposed to be different scholars doing the readings, sort of reading a shared body of material, and then coming together to talk about what they've read. And I want to run the seminar in the same sort of way. So I'm thinking about this as a guided research seminar, where I'm imagining that all of you have some existing interest in artificial intelligence and autonomy and agency and the sort of ethical and political and philosophical issues that arise around here. And so I want you to use this class and use the assignments in the class to structure your own research and pursue your own interests on these topics. Don't just research what I'm telling you, and don't just sort of focus on my own interests. I think my interests are interesting, but you're not me, and I can understand why people wouldn't find my interests interesting. But hopefully there's enough material in the lesson for you to find things that interest you and that you can bring into the conversation. So focus your writings, your essays, and your presentation in class on the things that you want to talk about. And I'm happy to tailor the class to suit your interests and to really pursue the things that are going to motivate you. So sometimes students find this hard, this sort of setup hard to manage. Some students don't do so well with the open structure like this. And if I'm not going to be giving you reading assignments, I'm not going to give you specific prompts to write to. I'm not going to be quizzing you on any of the readings. And because there's not a lot of pressure to do specific readings or to learn specific vocabulary or whatever, some students take that as a license to not do anything or to just sort of ignore the class for a while. So I'm hoping that you're not going to do that. I'm hoping that you'll take advantage of the class and the opportunity to do research on this topic, and that you'll actually do the work. This is sort of on your honor. I do have these weekly comments on Discord on Canvas to just check in with you to make sure you're thinking about these things and structure your thinking a little bit, but I'm not going to be checking that you're doing the readings. So it's really up to you to do the readings. And that means that this class is going to be what you make of it. If you put a lot of effort into this class, if you really take advantage of the discussions, I think you'll have a lot of fun in this class. But if you sort of blow off the class, you might struggle a little bit with the writing and the conversations that we have, and maybe you won't get as much out of the class. So please try to take advantage of the class. I have some tips on the screen right now to help you stay motivated in a sort of open form class like this. The biggest one I want to say is follow your interests. Don't just read something because it was assigned or because you think you have to. Follow what you're interested in reading, because that'll make the reading and the writing a lot easier. If you're genuinely interested in the material, then you will pursue that material of your own accord. And sometimes there's things that are difficult or technical that maybe is not boring, but just is really hard. And sometimes it's okay to just put that stuff aside and maybe come back to it later when you have a better idea of why it's important. This is how I've taught myself a lot of mathematics, is not by just going into the math books and just reading the mathematics, because it's sort of hard to pick it up that way. But it's really by following my interests and then seeing these mathematical concepts that come up over and over again, and finally getting frustrated to the point where like, okay, fine, I'm going to read it, because by that point I know why I want to learn that material. I know what it's useful for, what I want that knowledge for. And by that time, it's no longer boring. It's something that I can pursue. So try to stay motivated, try to stay interested in the material. If you find yourself getting bored, just move on to something else until you find something that really captures your attention and gets you eager to write and talk about it. Another tip for this kind of self-guided research structure is to follow the trail. So don't just type topics into Google or Google Scholar and look for things on your topic. But once you find things and read those things, figure out what they're referencing, right? What sources is this person drawing from? And then track down those sources and read what research they've done and what research has brought them to the conclusions that you liked in that paper. So track down the sources of your sources. Go back a couple of steps until you find until you really have a sense of the literature and the place that your argument has in that literature. Following the trail is sometimes a fun part of research. It's a little bit like a detective story. Like, where did this concept come from, and why are they using it this way as opposed to this way, or why do these two sources disagree about how they're using this term? Tracking that stuff down can be a lot of fun, and it's part of the academic research process. So use this class to practice your researching skills. Maybe this is obvious, but a really important thing for doing this kind of research in this open structured way is to put in the time, is to set aside deliberate time every week to not just do the writing assignments and complete the homework, but to also do the reading and to think about the reading. Maybe you put aside a couple of hours on Fridays to do the writing before the assignment is due, but maybe you put aside a couple of different hours where your only job is to read, is to pick a paper every week and read that paper and think about that paper. Also, I would suggest scheduling not just reading time and writing time, but also reflection time, conversational time. Like use a couple of your hours each week that you devote to this class to talk about some of the topics with your peers, either your friends or your family or people around you. I know it's COVID, so it's a little bit hard to talk to a big wide audience. But also there's Discord that'll be up all the time. You can consider just chatting with people on Discord about these topics as part of the work for this class. It'll help you get comfortable using these topics. It'll help you see what other people think about these topics. So build time in your schedule this semester for that kind of work, not just the writing assignments, but also the research and readings, and also the conversation and interaction. I think all of those things are important for the topic, and really just to get into philosophy. And finally, treat the writing assignments, both the Discord conversations and the weekly Canvas assignments and your longer thought papers and debate commentaries. Treat these things as a way of tracking your progress through these debates and through the course. So I don't want you, you're not going to solve the problem of the mind in philosophy in your papers, and you shouldn't really be aiming to do that, because that's sort of bigger than what this course can really offer. But what you should be thinking about is developing your own ideas. And so your writing assignments can sort of track that. Like, you used to think this, but then you realized this from this reading. Take note of terms that come up over and over again. Take note of particular arguments or argumentative styles or questions that you keep having that you haven't found addressed. And while you're doing the reading and research, while you're talking about these things, take notes of these things and sort of just mark your progress, where you are in the debate and how you're getting along. And if you treat your regular writing assignments as this sort of progress tracking tool, sort of like a scientist and watching an experiment and taking notes, taking observations, I think that'll make the writing assignments, the longer writing assignments, a little easier, because by this time you've not only sort of processed the material, but you've also sort of done some processing about what you think of the material. So notice your own reactions to what you're reading and writing, because those reactions can be part of your analysis and approach to this material. Okay, so I skipped this page. This is the grading requirement. Okay, so we've gone over all the assignments. Here are the grades and the grade breakdown for the assignments. It's 1,000 points in the class. The biggest chunk of your grade is in those presentations. So you only have one of those presentations, but it's 30% of your grade. So it's very important that you do it and that you put some work and thought into it. The rubric for grading the presentations is on Canvas. The other biggest chunk of your grade are the weekly comments. I think there's 20. I think there's 21. I'm sorry. There are 11. There are 11 weeks where you're required to have comments. You don't need to have comments on the debate weeks because you have your thought papers at the end. So altogether, there are 11 comments that are required, and only 10 of those are being actually required for the grades. So if you skip one of the comments, it's not going to hurt your grade. And comments are each worth 20 points, and there's 10 of them that are required, so that's 200 points. So just your presentation, the weekly comments alone are already 50% of your grade. The other part of your grade is divided between the thought papers. You have 2 of them, one's for Unit 1 and 2, and those are worth 50 points each, so 100 points total on the thought papers. Another 25 points each for the debate commentaries, and again, there are 2 of those. We will have a third debate, hopefully, but we won't have time to do a commentary for that debate afterwards. So you're only required to do the commentaries for the first 2 units, and that's another 50 points. So 150 points on these formal writing assignments on Canvas, and 200 points on these informal writing assignments on Canvas. Another 200 points for your participation in class. For your participation in class, participation means attending the required attendance days during the debates and the peer review sessions, and then also checking in every week on Discord for attendance. Again, there are I think 20 sessions that are required. I think there are 22 Discord sessions that are required each class period, and that. But you have to do 10 of them for full credit on the Discord requirements. So if you miss a couple of Discord days, that's also okay. But I'd appreciate regular attendance. The attendance is only required on the debate days, but is encouraged on all the other days. And I will be giving extra credit for those attendance, so those extra attendance days. The final bit of your grade for the semester is in the final exam. The exam paper itself is a 7 to 10 page paper, and that's worth 100 points. So there's basically like 2 thought papers put together. But then there's also a series of preparation and peer reviews to get ready for that final exam over the course of the semester. So thesis proposal and a full paper proposal, and then a full draft right before the papers due. And each of those is worth some points, and together is 50 points. So that the whole exam and preparation together is 150 points. So that's 1,000 points total here. There are also some extra credit assignments, which you can see on Canvas. There's an extra writing assignment. The extra attendance will, on the days that are not required, attendance will get extra credit. And then there's a meme thread that you can contribute to for a little bit of extra credit also. And that's it. Let me put myself back on screen. I think that's everything for the class. Let me just check really quickly. There's nothing else in the syllabus. You can see all this information on Syllabus, the full grading scale, details about the late policy and the accessibility policy. All of the assignments are discussed in quite a lot of detail in the syllabus. So please read the syllabus for all that information. Let me know if you have any questions. I'm really excited to talk with you about this stuff this semester. I'm about to record the first lecture on agency. So I'm excited about that. And if you have any questions, let me know. I'll talk to you when class starts.